Everyone, sorry I can't be there today. Here are your instructions for what you'll be doing today while I'm gone. Okay, yesterday we started our genetics unit, and you should have completed the first set of notes and also the first practice page in your packet. Make sure you submit that to checkpoint 1. You are welcome to do the checkpoint on electronically on Schoology, or you can write the answers down in your packet and submit a picture of that to your checkpoint. Doesn't matter to me. Make sure you've submitted that. And then today we're going to continue on with our genetics knowledge, and we will be learning about Punnett squares. This is going to be covering objectives 3 and 4 of your genetics PFA, the genes, chromosomes, and Punnett squares one. We are not going to be covering objective 5 today until I get back. So just kind of a heads up about that. If you are wanting to take the genes, chromosomes, and Punnett squares PFA, you have been provided a study guide, or you will be today, and then you can work on filling that out. In the playlist resources on Schoology, you can study Objective 5 on your own. It's all about pedigrees or family trees. There's a list of videos that you can watch that will really help familiarize yourself with that. There are 3 questions about pedigrees on your PFA, so you will need to know how to do those in order to pass your PFA. Just heads up. Okay, here's what we're doing today. I'll give you a little rundown. Here are the slides that the sub will be showing you. We're going to do a brief review of what we learned yesterday, and then you're going to take notes over Punnett squares. You'll fill out page 3 in your packet, and then checkpoint 2, practice page. That is page 4 in your packet. And then you can work on your study guide for the PFA. Now, this is the opener that we would be doing if I was present. So just kind of a heads up about that. You can access these slides on the daily calendar if you want to go over this. This is just a really big review of all those vocab words that we learned yesterday in class. Like, what is the difference between dominant and recessive? How do you know? What is the difference between homozygous and heterozygous? Remember, homozygous means same, homo means same. So two of the same trait. Heterozygous means different, or hetero means different. And that means a person or an organism has inherited one of each dominant and recessive trait. And then phenotype versus genotype. Phenotype is the physical appearance. Genotype is the genetic combination that organism has received. So just kind of a heads up, we would have been going over this. If you want, the sub can pause it and you guys can go over it yourselves. But yeah, we will be reviewing this when I return. All right, next you are going to watch a video about Punnett squares. We are doing the very easy basic Punnett square. This is just crossing a single trait at a time. Are there more advanced Punnett squares? Yes. You can cross 2 traits at a time for a dihybrid cross, di means 2, or even super high level, trihybrid cross. We're not talking about that at all for this level of biology. But you do need to know how to do a mono hybrid cross. Mono means 1. And you guys know I love a good visual, so we will be watching this video to demonstrate how a Punnett square works and how you set it up first. Then, just a heads up, for your page of notes and for your practice page, I do have some tips for you in terms of writing the letters that represent the alleles for your traits on paper. When you are taking notes, make sure, please, that your capital letters and your lowercase letters are very different from each other. A lot of times you guys get into a hurry and you start writing really quickly, and then you can't tell your capital versus your lowercase or dominant versus recessive at all, and it gets a little messy. So I have 2 recommendations that I usually give students. You can use print versus cursive. So you can print your capital or dominant alleles, and then your recessive alleles you can write in cursive, if you know cursive. It's just like the squiggly writing, you guys. You can do this. Or another way is to underline your recessive traits. So underlining your lowercase letters is actually really easy. Usually the P's and the S's are what you guys get really mixed up because you write them really fast and they end up being the same size. So just kind of heads up, I find that a lot of students typically follow the underlining of the lowercase letters. It just keeps everything nice and neat and easy to understand when you're working those problems. Okay, next you are going to watch a video of me explaining how to do Punnett squares. It's pretty straightforward. Take notes on your piece of paper, page 3 in your packet, And then when you get done, you will fill out page 4. I am including in this PowerPoint the lecture slides as well. So if you need access to these, they're in the daily calendar. You can take a look at them. And if you miss anything in your notes, you can go in and fill it in. Okay. And then at the end, you are going to do page 4 in your packet. Here's a little picture of it on here. I'll show it to you real big here in a second. You're going to do some practice Punnett squares, okay? The sub has a key. Once you finish, you may check your answers. You will submit a picture of this to checkpoint 2 in your project, okay? Use your webcam, just submit a picture, you'll be good to go. Here is what, I have a copy of your packet here. All right, so here is what your notes page looks like. You will be filling this out as you watch the video. And also, I'm very aware that half of you know how to do Punnett squares and the other half does not. So just a heads up, be patient with everybody. If you are somebody who does know how to do Punnett squares, still be kind, still be patient. You need to watch the video and you need to be respectful and stay off of your phone during the lecture, okay? And also, if somebody needs help, help them. Okay, here is your practice page. You'll notice that some are blank. You are skipping those. I tried to be nice and cut down the number of practice problems, okay? Because this is a PDF, for some reason, it just would not let me delete these little lines here, but don't worry about it. If it's blank, you're skipping it. It starts off really easy. So the first ones, they literally tell you which alleles to cross. So here's a homozygous dominant and here's a heterozygous. See how they've obviously made the lowercase letters very different. So they're using cursive there. You'll just do your Punnett square and you will write, this one looks like it's asking you for the genotypic ratio and you fill in the blanks above it. And so the whole first row is similar to that. Second row, they start working and transitioning you into the word problems. So they've written it with words here, the genotypes, homozygous tall, crossed with a short. The X means crossed with. The X does not mean multiply like in math. Okay, you're just crossing this parent with this parent. Okay, and then they show you what that looks like in the letters, in the genotype. And so you will use that to make your Punnett square. Then it's just word problems from here on out. Okay, so you are going to use this key to really figure out which letters you are using, and you're going to have to be pretty smart about figuring out the genotypes here. Okay, for example, this says heterozygous yellow seed crossed with a green seed. So if you go to yellow and green, that's big Y, little y. Heterozygous yellow, hetero means different, so that'd be big Y, little y. But green, it didn't tell you if it's homo or heterozygous. Well, you have to be smart enough to know that green is recessive. The only way you physically are recessive is if you have 2 recessives. So you have to be little y, little y. So you have to know that's homozygous. Okay. There's a few examples like that here in the page. And so you'll do that. The very last row, you have to do both the genotypic ratio and the phenotypic ratio. So this last row right here, guys, you need to write the dominant and recessive phenotype for each one that you are doing. Okay, so here they kind of showed you. It's doing purple versus white flowers, purple, white. This one looks like you're doing flower color as well, purple, white. This one is smooth versus round, I think. And this one is short versus tall, or tall versus short. Okay, so make sure you add in your phenotypic ratio down here at the bottom, and then you will put in a picture on checkpoint 2. Anyways, that is it. Make sure you work on your study guide that you will be receiving after you're done with this paper. And if you want to take the PFA before I return, you can always go to the PFA room during CT time. Okay, excellent. Thank you so much and have a good day.